Hello, hello, hello there. Good evening, everyone. I just finished this on audio book, Moon to Earth. It's memoir by Moon Unit Zappa, Frank Zappa's daughter, his firstborn daughter. Now, you may have heard of Frank Zappa. I know you know what he looks like. Here's a picture of him. It's Frank Zappa. He died. Oh, this is impromptu. I think he died in 1993. I just read the book. You think I'd know, but in fact I know today's the anniversary. The 29th, is it? Hang on. Okay, so I was correct. It was 93, December 4th, and I remember when he died. I remember. You might remember if you're as old as me or kind of grew up in the late 70s or 80s. You might remember their song, Valley Girl. I won't attempt to sing it. If this were a professional video, I'd play a little bit. Maybe I'll find it and play an outro of Valley Girl. But that was his biggest hit. He didn't like the fact that that was his biggest hit. And uh, it came about from Moon. She was very, very young, like 12, 13. And she sent him a note wanting to schedule time with him because they never saw him. He was in his home studio all the time working, or he was out on the road, uh, or he was with a groupie. Actually moved in a groupie. He was married to this woman, Gail. They were, the kids were brought up very almost feral. They could do anything you want, speak any words you want, bad words, good words are all the same. Call me Frank, and this is Gail. Don't call me Dad or anything. They didn't really give him a good. You think living in the Zappa house would be a carnival or anything you want all the time. But she went to. It was in that like Hollywood Hills area by like famous actors and that. But let me go back a bit to say you don't have to be a Frank Zappa fan to like her memoir. I really, really like this memoir. I'm not a big Frank Zappa fan. I don't have any of his albums over there. I used to have some. Yeah, Joe's Garage, X1, 2, and 3. That was funny. Um, but not a fan, a big fan. He's a great guitarist in that, but his music is kind of satirical. And I remember back as an undergrad at Kent State, I had friends who were Frank Zappa fans. They had posters and even tapestry with his, purple tapestry with his face in like black illustration, things like that. I actually saw Frank Zappa once. Might as well tell you the story. I won some tickets through a radio station, right? I took a friend of mine from work. Oh, God, drink all the way up there. He was driving. And got lost, couldn't find a place. Finally show up, and it's like, all right, everybody, for example, good night. True story. He came back out for an encore, but we drove from Toledo, Ohio to um, Blossom Music Center by Cleveland. A 3 hour drive for nothing. Anyway, I wish I could cut that out. You don't have to be a Frank Zappa fan to like this memoir because she is an artist in every respect of the word and a writer who has creative writing credentials and things like that. An artist, she's very spiritual, had a guru and followed that, the Hindu, the Bhagavad Gita side of things. and she was always like outcast. She had friends and that, but it just this family dynamic is really unusual and strange. So she goes through all that when, for, for example, like the neighbors in the Hollywood Hills, when Frank died, Jamie Lee Curtis came over and really helped her through the grief process. So much so that she mentioned her in the book, things like that. Now, the other half of the book is about her mother, Gail, who is a stone trip. Never met or read uh, anything close to a person like this. Um, Betrayed Moon and Dweezil Zappa, her brother. She has two brothers, Ahmet and Dweezil. Dweezil's a great guitarist in his own right. I wouldn't mind reading his book if he has one. I'm going to look for it. But boy, she oh God, what can I say? She was in every kind of like spiritual, new age, woohoo, the earth from the '60s up until her death in 2006. But her, there's so much like financial BS and legal BS she calls the family out through life, and then she divided up the family, and the family is a business. It was a business all along too. You know, as far as merch, T-shirts, posters, like I mentioned, tapestries, and his music. She had a real tight hold on copyright, things like that, but she didn't follow his wishes of the will. And how Moon put up with this person, this Gail, who there's documentaries on the Zappas and that. I'm kind of interested to see some now. And there's weird stories of Frank and his parties and his sex exploitations. A lot of interviews. There's one with Dick Cavett, if you remember him. But so I'm not doing this book justice by this review. I didn't keep notes, or, listen to it. It's a fast read. But if you're into like women's rights and issues, spirituality, the grief process, meditation, art, music, 60s culture, mental health. Yeah, that family was a stone cold trip. I'm tempted to tell you some stories that are off. They're untoward. They're sexual related stories and parties Frank would throw. All right, I'll tell you one. One time, he threw a party and it was formal, like everybody, except for the people serving the champagne. They were topless women dressed up. And at the end of this party, Frank didn't drink or do drugs either. So he was trying to make a statement somehow. He made them stand on their heads and get this, gave them champagne enemas. Like, subscribe, make a comment. I'll reply back to you. It's really a good book. I was moved to tears several times by it. I learned things I didn't know about the Zappas, about guitars, about life. I really did. I give this 4 stars. And I don't give 5 stars to anybody, they gotta be like a real classic. So, that's it. Wish me luck. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later.